Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of A Healthy Dose of Fran. Today, the Avatar returns in a brand new video looking at the idea of the Avatar as a whole and how, from what we learn in Avatar 1's The Beginnings,
there wasn't enough time.
Don't worry. We will be together for all of your lifetimes. And we will never give up.
the idea that the Avatar is the bringer of peace got me to thinking that what if one day peace is found in the world? Would that mean that the Avatar would no longer be necessary? So today I'm looking at the idea that it is possible that one day the Avatar will cease to exist. Now, like we saw in the clip with Avatar 1, his duty and every Avatar's duty was to bring peace to the world, and as Raava said, she would continue to be with him for all of his lifetime, so they would never run out of time to bring peace to the world. Now, it's with that phrasing and this idea that the Avatar is the bringer of peace that made me think and wonder if, from like we saw in Legend of Korra, the necessity of the Avatar lessened over time. So it's safe to assume that one day the Avatar would no longer be needed because peace would be able to be found without the Avatar. Now, from Raava's phrasing of this and how she would be with him for all of their lifetimes, made me wonder if it is possible that when Raava senses that peace is restored on Earth and that the races in Avatar would be able to hold on to that peace with them themselves, would she stop reincarnating and creating the Avatar? And from the more information that we've received about the Avatar world, such as the book The Rise of Kyoshi, this idea of the necessity of the Avatar has continued to grow, and we can see the difference in the uses and times for the Avatar. Take Avatar Korra, who we learn in The Rise of Kyoshi, was in a time pretty much of peace. He was able to, for lack of a better term, piss about for the entirety of his Avatar years. He would go on chasing skirts, having fun, becoming a brilliant pie show player because he had nothing else to do. He was just kind of a bit of a lad, I guess you would say. But then when it came to the time of Avatar Kyoshi, as we saw with the false Avatar Yun, the Avatar was used for negotiation strategies. They were seen as the ultimate authority figure, the person who could make these final decisions and broker peace. And during Kyoshi's time, there was a lot of war going on with the Yellow Jackets and so on and so forth. There was just so much war and austerity in that time, so the Avatar was needed. And as we found out with Yun being proven to be the false Avatar, every negotiation he had made as the Avatar was now null and void, and so drama was going to continue, and we'll see what happens with that in the next Kyoshi book, which again I am so excited for. But anyway, when we went on to the next Avatar, which was Roku, a similar situation happened here. He didn't need to be found at a young age like Kyoshi needed to be. In his case, he was told at the correct time at age 16. And he was trained, and he didn't have any quickness or need to train quickly like Aang did, because there was relative peace in his time. It was only when Sozin decided to, dominate the world that his need for being the Avatar came into being. Now, we don't know if he had any other fights during his time as Avatar, but other than his lack of action for Sozin, Roku didn't really have much responsibilities as the Avatar, or at least not that we can tell, which I kind of hope we get a little bit more exploration of Roku as an Avatar, and basically all the past Avatars in general, because then we'll be able to know what his time as Avatar was like. But then we move on to Aang, and obviously Aang as the Avatar was a necessity. Aang's Avatar form and self was basically what the world would probably have described as a beacon of hope. The Avatar was this figure of peace. He was this figure of strength. So him being the Avatar was a necessity because that was the only way to stop the war. Because as Iroh said, if Iroh had done anything, it would have just appeared to the world as a brother killing another brother for power. But if it is the Avatar, it has this sort of omnipotence about it. This powerful figure is getting involved to save the world. So he was necessary. But then we move on to Korra. And I think this is the most interesting part because Korra was in a time of almost relative peace. There was no real necessity for her to go out to be the Avatar, hence her availability to stay in the South Pole for pretty much her entire young adolescent life to be trained. But when villains do come into Korra's story, they're not ones that are kind of world-dominating threats, except for Zahir. And then, I guess, obviously, Vaatu. But let's not talk about that. But in general, Korra as an Avatar, and her being the Avatar, wasn't really what was stopping this from happening. There was no need for her to be the Avatar to stop these fights. Pretty much anyone could have stopped any one of these things, except for maybe the Vaatu and Zahir situation, because it was directly correlating to the Avatar spirit. But just her being the Avatar was just circumstantial, really. And I think Korra knew this. It was a big part of her character. She defined herself as the Avatar. She was nothing if she wasn't the Avatar. And I think that the thing that really sticks out, that her being the Avatar was kind of not needed in the world, is at the end of book 3. The Avatar was the bringer of peace, the balance in the world. But as we saw in Korra, the world wasn't in need of her or the power of the Avatar anymore. When the Airbenders decided to take over the mantle while Korra was injured, their intentions may have been admirable, but all it did was prove to Korra that she wasn't needed anymore, that the world didn't need her. Alongside the world order as a whole leading to the necessity of the Avatar, what is also tying into this, I think, is also relating to bending as a whole. And that is the technological advancements in the Avatar world. Each new advancement led to less of a need to rely on bending. Look at Asami, for example, in Legend of Korra. She is almost as, if not more, capable than most benders. And yes, we can say that about other past non-bending characters like Suki and Sokka. But it is Asami using technology to her advantage that puts her beyond the power of a bender. And because of this need and this technology leading to less of a reliance on benders, also adds to less of a reliance on the Avatar, because people are able to protect themselves now. Yes, occasionally they need this omnipotence power to be able to protect them from larger than life threats. But these larger than life threats are few and far between. And maybe with this introduction of more advance in technology, people will be able to protect themselves more, meaning that the Avatar will no longer need to be used as a broker of peace, because they will no longer be depended on by the world. As a whole, this idea of the Avatar just being needed for peace may not necessarily be correct, and I'm sure a lot of people will probably disagree with me about that. But from what we know of Raava being the light and peace spirit, peace literally being in the name, this idea that the world one day being able to find peace without the need or intervention of the Avatar brings this idea that it is possible that one day Raava can look upon the world and realise that the power of the Avatar is no longer needed because the world can finally look after itself. And that's why I think it is possible that one day in the distant Avatar universe future, the Avatar may no longer exist. But what do you guys think? Do you agree with me that it is possible the Avatar will one day disappear? Or do you have your own theories or ideas? Whatever the case, let me know in the comment section down below. Now I know what you guys have been thinking. What on earth has Fran been wearing this entire video? And yes, that's right, I now have my own Avatar merchandise on my merchandise store, which you guys can get on anything, whether it be hoodies, t-shirts, mugs, notebooks, pillows, whatever the case, you guys can get your own Avatar merchandise, and there will be more coming in future. My merchandise store is linked in the description box down below. If you want to go and get that, go check out my store now. But in general guys, I want to thank you so much for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. If you go to the description box down below, you'll find the links to my Instagram, Twitter, merchandise store and my Patreon. Where on Patreon there are now 5 tiers of access available, including such things as early access, poll involvement, behind the scenes footage and a personalised video message from yours truly. But if you can't support me on Patreon, don't worry, I can always do with another subscriber. So go and click the button down below or click the one popping up here on screen. If you want to check out any of my previous Avatar theories, the playlist will be popping up here, and then something else for you beautiful people will be popping up here. Again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.